to. I know, George, you wanted to say something.
Good afternoon. Am I on here?
The green light on?
Green light is on.
Yeah, then you're on.
Hello. Good afternoon, Madam Chair, members of the board, Mr. Pasquaretti, and Supervisor Kesey. I'm George Bott, District 1. I have a few critical comments today about the approach the Broadband Authority has been taking. About 4 years ago, this is your organizational meeting today, I think.
Yes.
4 years ago, Dr. Westbrook and I and several others successfully proposed a broadband authority and nominated its members. 3 of you are still here today. The goals were to bring fiber to the home and keep costs affordable for some of our residents. Funding is now readily available. OPM, that's other people's money. We've got VATI and an alphabet soup of other funding authorities. A lot of the funds have come in from stimulus monies from the federal government and some through the states. Base work was done. All the 911 addresses were verified. Student locations were correlated with those addresses. Poles were identified to hang fiber. We reviewed extensively useful planning and scheduling software, hired an executive director who had done fiber to the home on the Eastern Shore. We had an outline, cost estimates, in short, a plan, which we submitted to the Department of Agriculture. We know that that didn't come to fruition. Dr. Silverman and I met with the former Rust director just after he left office, and it was an interesting situation about 2 years ago. Now we're out of, we're sold out, I think, now to the siren song of, gee, we could do everything for $600,000. It may be 625, I don't remember the exact number, but. So it seems that we bought into that approach. We've given half a dozen third parties all our funds, and in my opinion, full control of our destiny. When I asked one of the 2 consortium members, there was a Northern Neck Electric Co-op, what was going on and when I might receive service, Brad basically said, I don't know. Here's his email. I'll quote in part, Northern Neck Electric has not installed any fiber, does not have the schedule for all point broadband, which is their partner. Our work and our role in this project does not involve any of these intricate details. We don't have any details you are referencing. I asked him, when might I expect service? What kind of a service would I expect? Wi-Fi, broadband, coax cable. So one of your consortium members doesn't know. I think this compromise is bad for Lancaster County residents. Only fiber to the home will future-proof our efforts. Our many senior level retirees from DOD, military, CIA, EPA, big business, expect it. Your November 2019 survey proved it in large part by the response. The central issue is that the Lancaster County Broadband Authority does not view what you're doing as a business. Your customers are the citizens, need the benefits of fiber to the home, but you're trying to satisfy high-tech savvy retirees, end quote from this slide, help and attract and maintain young people, unquote, with Wi-Fi and cable. So your pitch basically is, come here, young folks, we have cable. Well, they're cutting cable. The Virginia Code allows a government agency to build and operate a service providing broadband. You know that. You have the power to borrow funds. You're a business, if you will, if you think of it in those terms. Your current track will not meet the intent of establishing this authority, respectfully.
Thanks, George. Other comments? Glenn, anybody? right, that'll close the public comment. We'll go to the approval of minutes. Michelle?
Oh, I submitted some time ago the final draft of the minutes that I had circulated for the last meeting, which was the December 2021 meeting. And anybody doesn't have any questions, I'll make a motion to have those minutes approved.
I second.
All in favor of those minutes?
Aye.
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 All right, I will abstain because I wasn't here
Okay.
for that meeting. Okay. The next thing, before we get into the annual meeting, I'd like a special guest we have to identify himself and his role with LCBA.
I am Craig Geezy. I'm the new board member for District 1. I took Mr. Larson's place. I had asked to serve on this committee.
We can't hear you, Craig. Can you please go to the mic because it doesn't get recorded?
I'm sorry.
Thank you.
I'll start over then. My name's Craig Geezy. I'm the District 1 representative. I took Jack Larson's place. I have requested to serve on the broadband committee because I think this is a very important issue. As some of the items Mr. Bott brought up, I think it's really crucial for the county. And I look forward to working with you all on this and hope that we can accomplish it soon as far as that. So thank you for having me.
Anytime. And offer still goes to, talk to you offline, give you some background, any questions you may have.
Okay, sure will.
Oh, yeah. Thanks. Okay, now we'll begin with the annual meeting. This is a requirement for the first meeting in February, with the idea that we will go through the election of officers, the 5 positions on the authority. Everyone who is an incumbent member has the right, he or she, to say, I'd like to stay in my current position, or not, or if somebody else wants to ask, I'd rather take this position. It's free too. All right, we'll start at the top. The chair of the authority. I currently sit as chair of the authority, and I'd like to request to stay in that position. I don't know if anyone else is interested in that position.
Yes, I would like to be chair also.
All right, that's Gary. Gary Silverman has expressed interest in that position. Anybody else? Okay. Want to call for a vote, or would you like me to, Madam Secretary?
Oh, I'll call for a vote. Have a vote for the election of the chairperson. First, we'll say all who are voting for Cassie should identify themselves as such.
I do.
I do.
Aye.
Okay.
All right, that's 3 votes, and I'm just going to sit back here and not vote. Gary, are you there?
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm.
All right, I'm sorry.
Okay. So we'll just say all who are voting in favor of Gary.
I do.
Okay.
All righty,
And Cassie, did you abstain?
yes.
Okay. So the votes are in favor of Cassie, obviously.
Okay. Next position is vice chair. Cherie Kaiser currently serves in that position. Cherie, your interest in remaining?
I'm happy to continue as vice chair.
All right. Any other body like to be considered for vice chair? All right, Madam Secretary?
I'll take a vote for the position of vice chair for Cherie having that position. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Was that an aye, Gary?
Yeah.
Oh, all right, sorry, it comes across a little mumbled at times, thank you. All right, Cherie. Next position, secretary. Michelle, you currently serve in that position, your interest?
I'm happy to stay in that position, but if someone else would like to, I completely understand.
Anyone else? Interested? All righty. All those in favor, I'll call this one. All those in favor of Michelle remaining as secretary, please do so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Gary?
I said aye.
What? We're not, is it only me not hearing?
No, I didn't hear it either.
Oh,
It's just
okay.
the audio, I think.
All right, so the, four, you abstained? All
I
right,
did.
okay. Next, treasurer. Kevin?
Yeah.
Anybody else wants to be treasurer? All right. All those in favor of Kevin remaining as treasurer, please do so.
Aye.
Loud, Gary.
Aye.
Thank you.
Aye.
We're not hearing, all righty, currently. Now, Gary currently serves as Director at Large, also Finance and Grants, and as our rep to the Northern Neck District Planning Commission. I just thought I'd throw them all out there at one time. Is there anyone else who is interested in serving in that? Well, there's nobody else. It's just the four of us.
Is Gary
oh, sorry.
willing to continue?
Yeah.
Yes. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. That's four, and Gary, I guess, abstained, so all in
And
favor.
that's the Director at Large, Northern Neck Planning District Commission, and the third one is
Finance and Grants.
Finance and Grants. Got it.
Okay, that's all five positions. So everyone is staying in their current position. Okay. Sheree, you want to take Northern Neck Broadband Authority designation?
We are supposed to designate somebody to that role. It's unclear to me who's currently serving in it.
Broadband Authority.
I thought that was,
That's not the same as.
Is it the same as an NDPC?
Yeah, that's.
Is
yeah.
it? Okay,
Yeah.
then we can move to the review of the bylaws.
Okay, yeah, because that's, Gary's holds that, yeah.
Okay.
We'll go to bylaws. All right, Michelle.
we amended and restated the bylaws last year at this time. I reviewed them. I don't have any changes that I recommend unless, welcome to hear anyone else's thoughts on that.
I have no recommendations for changes.
I don't have any changes to the bylaws as of last amended, but I do want to throw out the possibility of moving the meetings to Thursdays at the first of the month rather than Wednesdays. If the.
First or the second?
Or the,
Because
it's
right
the
now.
second, it's the
please.
second. Yeah,
Yes.
sorry, you're
Yeah.
right, Gary.
Second Thursday of the month.
Second Thursday of the month rather than the Wednesday.
All right. I don't have any problems. Either day works for me. Michelle?
I'm fine with it.
Gary?
It doesn't matter.
Kevin?
Every day's a weekend.
Does that
Tell he's retired.
conflict with any other board's meeting day?
Any other board? I'm sorry, I missed
Does
that.
that conflict with any other board's meeting day?
Yeah, when does the Board of Supervisors meet?
Like Board of Supervisors, planning,
They're later.
Yeah, they're the last Thursday.
Last Thursday.
The
Planning
monthly is
Commission
the
does
last
when?
Thursday.
third, so the first is open?
Yeah.
Yeah. As long as it's open, yeah, I'm
Is
fine
it the
with
first Thursday or the second Thursday?
Second
Second
Thursday.
Okay,
That still gives you time to get the
Yeah,
monthly report.
yeah, that's fine.
thank you for the accommodation.
Okay, we'll now move it to the second Thursday. Very good. And we'll put something in the paper. Got to change that. And
And
Sheree,
I'll
you take care-
update the website.
All
Yeah.
right, I'll do an article for the paper.
And did anybody else, just back to the bylaws real quick, I don't think anybody else had any comments, but I just wanted to make sure.
No, everything's good.
Oh, one thing on the second Thursday, I'll do it, I agree to it, but let me check the big calendar and making sure there's nothing else in here at 4:30
Okay.
on that Thursday.
Sure.
If there isn't, we're fine.
Okay.
If there is, I'll let you guys know.
Great.
Okay? All right.
I get my hair cut on the second Thursday, but I'll reschedule that.
On the second Thursday, move it then.
I'll reschedule that. Got an appointment.
You can do it earlier. Thank you, Nicholas.
I think Kevin does the same thing. He has the same hair appointment. I'm not sure.
Yeah, you and Kevin are very close in that regard. Okay. A budget review by the BOS. The budget was due our proposed budget on Monday by 5 PM. And Kevin submitted it Monday morning, circa, I don't know, 10 o'clock or so.
Yeah.
Right, and so I don't know if it's been distributed, nope, obviously Craig's writing, so you haven't received, all right, it's there. It got in on time. Okay. Anything else before we get to projects? Okay. I'm sorry? Kevin?
So I contacted the gentleman that had the issue and let him.
Oh, yes,
let
the
him-
mailbox.
Yeah, let him know that the contractor's been instructed to replace it,
Good,
and he's gonna let me know as soon as they do, so we have 2 avenues of being notified on it,
great,
so.
good. Thanks for following up on that. Glad to hear it. I guess we got to stop writing ABB. Breeze line, Nicholas?
Yeah, well, we have Tom Minnis on. Do you mind if, maybe we should put, have Tom do an All Points broadband
Want to do that one
update
first? All right, Tom, are you there?
first? So he's listed under me as participant.
Yeah,
But I took the my link, so that's why you look up there, it should be another Nicholas Pasquary that's on mute right now.
oh, wait,
Oh,
There
here
we
he
go.
comes.
here he comes.
Hi, this is Nicholas Pasquaretti. I think you guys should give All Points everything they asked for.
No, I
Yeah,
see.
you have way too much hair, Tom.
Great.
So you're mocking me with all that, with that name.
Thank you for joining us and talking about APB
Sure.
and where you are.
Yeah, give me one, let me see if I can do,
Oh, good.
sorry, I was thinking I was a little bit later in the agenda. Let me pull up my presentation.
Oh, we could, I could go over the other updates if you want, Tom. I just thought for your convenience.
Yeah, I just need like 30 seconds.
Okay,
Sorry.
not a problem. Okay, so I'll give some I'll give the updates on BTS and Breeze Line, okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right,
Is that okay, Cassie?
yes, fine, go ahead.
Okay. So for BTS, just a quick update. One of the good things is that all the smart poles are in service now, and they all are hooked up to BTS's fixed wireless point-to-point service. So we are no longer using the LTE service, which was giving us all the heartache at some of those locations, or not just heartache, non-service at some locations. So to date, all smart poles are in service. The one thing we are holding on a little bit, we're waiting for, is because of this new change, they're looking at a software program that'll give us some metrics on the performance of these poles. And that should be coming shortly, but at least we know they are all up and in service on the fixed point-to-point service. The other thing is that on the fixed wireless broadband installs in the CARES Act, there are 207 installs as of today.
Is that 207? 207?
Yes,
Okay, thank you.
207.
Great.
We're getting close to the 300 mark. Breeze Line, the VATI update, I guess we're calling that VATI 2021. Just, Atlantic Broadband has changed their name to Breeze Line. I'm sure everybody knows that. And the Breeze Line is passing 312 homes. And that kind of lowers, it's an additional 193, which lowers our matching funds per passing from $1,200 to $743. So the county's getting a bigger bang for the buck for the matching portion of the grant fund for the VATI grants. And the construction start date for Breeze Line is still on schedule in Q1 2022. And with that, I'll turn it over to Tom for an All Points broadband update.
Okay. So we've got a couple slides to go through. Can you all see that?
Yes.
Points up. Okay. Great. Well, thanks for having me this afternoon.
Don't you just love
So,
technology?
it looks blank on the BOS meeting room, so I wasn't sure. So, quick reminder about All Points Broadband. We are a Virginia-based rural broadband company. Many of you know this. We focus on areas that have traditionally been left behind by incumbent cable providers, who focus more on dense areas and build out. We focus on the rural areas that have been left behind and work with strategic partnerships, counties like yourselves, to fund and deploy fiber to the home networks. So last couple of years, we have been included on the 5,000 list of fastest growing companies. Last year, we had a lot of success in the state program Beatty, which was a success in Lancaster as well. We brought in a lot of money for our partner jurisdictions, either from state or federal money or from co-investment for utility leverage program. So in the Northern Neck, that's the NNEC, and Dominion, which was particularly helpful in Lancaster. Also, last year, with all of this growth, we needed to bring in more expertise and capital. That is through a company called Searchlight Capital Partners. Through their investment in All Points and several other companies, they are the #4 builder of fiber to the home across the country. Key partners there. And we're very happy to have Searchlight with us. Also important last year, as many of you all know and probably struggled with, there were issues in the supply chain across the board in the economy, but also especially in fiber and any other products that came from the petrochemical plants in Houston. So we spent a lot of time working with an American-based fiber manufacturing company to review all of our construction projects in Virginia, including in Lancaster. And we have secured commitment from them to not only manufacture the fiber, but cut it to our specs and hold it in inventory in Virginia. So there's going to be a stockpile of about 6 months of head time for inventory held by this manufacturer. They're called AFL Global. We got them to write a letter of commitment and support in our successful Beatty application. And all those materials will be in Ashland, so a short drive away. All right, so just a reminder, we applied for a Beatty grant last September. In December, they announced that the project had been funded, right, which was what we call fiber to the press. The announcement confirmed the $3 million from Beatty, $14 million from All Points, a little over $5 million of investment from Dominion, and a little over $500,000 from Lancaster County. When you combine that with the other counties in that project, it's about $1 million of local match. We do have support from NNEC, but their commitment is not considered a cash match in the grant program. So we'll hit a little bit about the Lancaster network. As a reminder, we are still on track for substantial completion by the end of 2023. That means that all of the FDAs, the fiber distribution areas, will be lit, and we will be passing all of the homes that will be able to sign up for service in the project. Let's see. So we had a question about some detailed route maps and shape files of all of the specifics of the project. You know, one of the benefits of working with the electric companies is that we get to reduce some of the CapEx up front, but a lot of our routes reflect these CEIIs, and it's just not publicly available. I'll get into this later in the presentation, but there are shape files of the project available for download on the DHCD website, and that is where we point folks who want to get a shape file. And we also had a question about the county facilities or, leverage in other negotiating areas. So as a reminder, the Beatty grant is specific to unserved locations that were actually approved in the grant. So unless there was a county facility or a community anchor institution that was included in the grant, they're not included in this specific project. We'll also touch on some of the next steps to actually getting under contract. As I mentioned, so the announcement in December was fiber to the press announcement. We had our kickoff meeting on January 11th, which actually starts the contracting process with DHCD. I think a couple days after that, we got the letter authorizing us to actually start spending money on the project that can count as match. So we are underway on that process. In Lancaster, we have 2641 unserved locations that are going to be served for a fraction of the actual cost. As a reminder, the architecture we use is XGS PON. The X stands for 10, G is gigabit, and S is symmetrical. So this architecture will let us scale to a 10 down, 10 up gigabit service to each location. Now, of course, that's not a service level that anyone could use or demands today, but this is a long-term investment in the county, and 10 years from now, you want to be able to satisfy customer demand. We also offer a managed router service with firewall and security procedures available to anyone who subscribes to the Allpoints service. That's a pretty standard feature for ISPs. So the overall infrastructure, it's about 185 miles of new fiber in the county, 65 miles of which approximately will be built and then leveraged by Dominion, one of the key partners we have in this project. For individual residents, just a reminder, you want to send them to fiber.allpointsbroadband.com, and here they can confirm whether or not they're in the project. They can move a point location to their actual house, so that we know that the drop goes to the house and not the shed, on the other side of the driveway. This also, if they opt into notification, the customer will get an email and a flyer and a yard sign and a door hanger, beginning about 90 days ahead of when their FDA will be activated. This is the main way that we communicate with customers, but they're going to see all kinds of other print collateral coming through the county in advance of service. So one of the programs that we have offering for all Allpoints customers and many providers participate in this program. It used to be called the EBB, the Emergency Broadband Benefit Plan. It is now called ACP, the Affordable Connectivity Program. This offers a $30 per month discount to eligible households per month off of the recurring broadband bill. So an eligible household may be someone who, if they have children who participate in a free and reduced lunch program, or they are at or below 200% of the federal poverty line. This helps folks afford a robust connection to broadband. Here are what we call the rack rates. So not discounted, not promo. This is what we charge for the recurring service. We start with a 50 by 50 plan at $59.99, and in real terms, that price is never going up. We have two other service levels right now, and as I mentioned before, in the future, we'll expand up to 10 gigs, probably in increments of 500 megs as demand increases over the years. So the change here from when we originally started this program has to do with the installation. What we do with the installations is for the first 12 months after your FDA, your fiber distribution, so your neighborhood, maybe the neighborhood next door, once that area can accept you as a customer, you have 12 months to get an installation for $199 regardless of the drop length. So our standard drop length is 500 feet. Typically, there would be a per foot charge after 500 feet, but for the first 12 months of the program, after your FDA is lit, you can get a drop for $199 regardless of the length. So 2,000 foot drop, $199. 500 foot drop, $199. That's a benefit from working with this Beatty program and including drops in the project. Here is an overview map of the network. You can see some of the drops and fibers in the adjacent project that we're working on, but all of these locations are in Lancaster.
So that file, your file's not showing.
Yeah, we're not seeing your file.
It's like a
Nicholas,
solid-
is it because he's sharing your,
No, it popped up before.
we,
It was like you
Did it
turned,
just go blank?
it's like you turned the blind function on.
Hold on.
There's
that-
Tom.
there's Tom. Share your screen?
I bet you can do it now that it's not split.
Oh, have you all not seen these slides?
There it
There,
is.
bravo.
Get
We
rid
got
of
it now.
Nicholas and it all shows.
Okay.
Hey, that hurt.
Oh, and we got Nicholas
So I was
back.
wondering at first when the
Oh, he's
screen was
back.
split. Okay. So,
Yeah.
well, I'll click through them so you guys can see them.
Can you
Sorry
send
about
us
that.
a copy of this, please?
I was just gonna ask that.
Can you
Sure.
please send a copy of this?
Of your slides?
So it must have looked like I was just speedily reading something off to you. Okay.
Oh, yeah, here's one.
So, sorry. So here's the network.
That's okay.
Locations, right, are in clusters that you're all intimately aware of. These are the 2641 that are included in the project. There are some lines, outside of the county, and those, I just wanted to show, we're building all around, and the fiber kind of goes in and out of the county in certain locations, but all these dots are in Lancaster, in the project, all approved. We got everything we asked for. So just a note on folks who want to determine whether or not they're in or out or don't see their dot. Regardless of where they think they may be in this project, you want to send them to that fiber.allbroadband.com website. We will ask them a question, a series of questions based on their prior experience trying to sign up for service. So even if they are not technically in the project, we want them to complete a survey so that, we are aware of them. You all can use any means you can to send them to that website, but we need that data, even if they're outside of the project. We want to try to find a way to get them service. We had a question about the Digital Inclusion Academy. This is something that we set up. It's very basic. It is a free Google for Education course that I'll send this link to, and we have a class code that people can sign up for and take some very basic broadband adoption classes. This was part of our Beatty application. We're waiting for the state to come out with digital equity and adoption program, but this is what we have for now. All right, let's hit some next steps for the grant award process. We had the DHCD kickoff meeting January 11th. We had a couple participants there. That starts the 90-day clock to get under contract with DHCD. It requires a lot of coordination between all points and the applicant and Dominion. Most of this is based off of existing successful documentation. We are updating it to include Lancaster's inclusion in the project. A couple of things include a final budget, grant administration agreement, communication plan, project management plan. These are all based on templates from DHCD that go into their grant management program. So key in this list is that we need to amend our the regional agreement with the Planning District Commission to include Lancaster's participation. All of those locations, the fiber, the construction costs, everything will be amended into the existing regional agreement. Number two, thank you all for putting this in quickly. We got the prior authorization letter on January 13th. So between the grant announcement in December and getting this letter, we weren't allowed to spend any money that could be counted as match. So we had to hold off a little bit on paying the some of the bills until we got that letter January 13th. So the last item here, obviously we need Dominion's participation through the utility leverage program. This is actively going on right now, and Lancaster and the Northern Neck are going to be in the first SCC hearing this year for Dominion, which is great news. That is a lot of work. Doesn't really involve anyone other than Dominion and All Points to put together the testimony and the files and the evidence for that hearing. So a couple of additional updates. So we have a regional office opening in Warsaw, and we're going to have some additional field offices in the Northern Neck and some construction yards and other activities going on either end of the Northern Neck. We are going to be hiring local field techs, customer support reps, field sales representatives, any, fiber engineers, if you know them, send them to our website. They can either apply through the website or emailing the HR department directly. We do get some interest from outside plant fiber contractors. Maybe they work for ABB Breezeline, maybe they want to work for APB. Pretty agnostic in terms of sourcing fiber contractors. So if you know any of them, they can send an email to osp@allpoints.com. I think that's it for my update, and I'll take a couple questions if you have.
Tom, I'll start with a couple of questions. First, thank you. Thank you very much for coming
Sure.
and for your presentation. Re-asked the question Michelle had asked. Can we get copies of these, of the slides that you presented?
Yeah.
Great. My next question, I know we have an agreement between us and All Points Broadband that any article, anything we want to put out, whoever wanted to draft it would go through a coordination process between the county, APB, and Dominion. Can you, because if I'm right, you're the marketing guy. Can you or someone draft an article that you can send to me that we can look at and, maybe want to tweak or add something from the Lancaster perspective? Because we owe the citizens of the county as much information, and this is great information, but they're not going to see this.
Oh, okay. Awesome.
Right. So if you could send me something that we, as the authority, can look at, throw in a few sentences or tweak or ask questions, whatever, we'd appreciate it. And after it goes through the coordination process, we'll put it out here in our local paper.
So one of the, yes, we'll work on a press release. I think that in terms of agreements, I believe Mark Zaruba, our general counsel, is working maybe with Sheree, I think.
Sheree? Oh,
You
yeah, you're
mean-
working, yeah, Sheree Kaiser, yeah, she's the vice chair.
We're working together on the grant administration agreement or some sort of press release?
No, I think on the grant administration agreement.
Yes, I think he did forward it to us and we have it. Michelle and I have reviewed it and we need to get back to Mark. I think
Okay.
Cassie was referring to marketing materials
Right.
and messaging to the citizens of Lancaster through the Rappahannock Record. We're under the impression that LCBA can't take that on itself without getting clearance from APB and Dominion, which makes it a little cumbersome to talk to the community about all the great things that you just shared with us.
Well, I mean, all the things he just
Yeah.
shared with us are public record.
Well, now they're public, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you could do it, the way APB finds it, then we'll look at it and it goes through that with Dominion. Because the public will see some of this, but not everybody here has access to the internet. So they will not know about this. So if we can do something, coordinate some sort of an article that we can put in our local into the Rappahannock Record, so it can get greater expansion in the county about what's going on. So you
Okay.
can send it to me, and I'll make sure everybody on the authority sees it and, has access to whatever we want to may add. And then send.
And Tom, I think that includes some information regarding, the project plan. I mean, I know you don't want to get into too much detail, there's a lot of things that can happen, and you want to set expectations.
Yeah,
But something a little more definitive than by the end of 2023 would be,
Yeah.
I think, a little helpful.
yeah. So part of that, I don't know if it was on that list I had, but one of the items in the DHCD punch list that we will submit to get under contract within 90 days is going to be a communications plan, a project management plan. So once we have those finalized, we'll have a good framework to explain to the public what's happening, because you're right, managing expectations is super important. And we don't want to tell people that fiber's coming next month if we know that it's not coming for another 6 months or 8 months,
I also think it's going to be really important to emphasize the 12-month period where no matter how far that last mile is, 500 feet or 2,000 feet,
Oh, yeah.
it's $199. I mean, that's pretty significant.
It is, it is.
It's a huge win. They are going to get more flyers and have more yard signs than they know what to do with. Because as we go through and have the construction crews running the lines, it is much more cost effective for us to have those drops added in as soon as possible. And one of the metrics that we will report to DHCD is the take rate. So we want to get that as high as possible, not only for reporting purposes, but because we're your broadband partner and we want more people hooked up as soon as possible. So we will make them very aware of that 12-month period.
How is that plan affected by people who qualify for your $30 plan? For low income or whatever?
Oh, they get, so we may run some promos on the installation, but the way that the ACP program works is it subsidizes the recurring fee, but not installation fees.
Gotcha.
And did I hear you right, Tom? The door hangers will go up on an individual's home 90 days prior to activation?
Or passing.
About, yeah.
All right, so we can say circa 90 days. But anyway, we'll wait for your draft article. Yeah.
That's prior to you going past the house, right?
Right, so the way that so they'll see some construction going on in the neighborhood. And once that the fiber distribution area is ready to turn on and turn the light onto that area, that's when the 12-month period starts. And so 90 days before we think we're turning on that FDA, that's when they'll start getting the notifications. The reality is that we're going to put a ton of door hangers and yard signs in the field tech's trucks and say, when you go by this neighborhood, you hand these out. And if it's 93 days before we think it's lit, they'll still hand them out. So it's not an exact science, but it's about 90 days.
I know you guys do this before, but one thing I've had success with, we used to put sandwich boards out. So when construction was going on, people driving by would say, this is construction installation, kind of give a time frame so you're not diluting the falls. And then when it was ready to light, then we'd also put that out so people driving by could then know it's time to start calling for orders or whatever. Okay, once again, it's managing expectations, not torturing yourself either.
Exactly. You want to tell them, hey, this construction's happening. This means that we expect to be getting service in this month.
Yeah, because no one really knows. I mean, it's kind of hard to know. Even if you're in the business, it's kind of hard to know.
Oh, yeah. There's the other thing that happens is once they start seeing spools of conduit laying around on the ground, everyone's gonna start asking about when's it coming to my house.
Yeah.
So,
Yep. Oh, I have another question. Oh, Tom, well,
Okay, sorry, go ahead.
oh, I'm sorry, Gary, I've asked a couple, go ahead.
Okay, sorry, I had internet problems, so when are you gonna be out in my house? No. One question I have, obviously, your competitors are out there building. Are you still planning on running no matter what the plan is? Because one of the things that was key was, where it was when we signed the MOU. That was sort of the picture frame. The picture frame, let's go, my understanding with this FATI grant, you're supposed to be substantially complete, which I don't know what that means, by the end of 2023 now. What, if say one of your competitors is in an area, will you still overbuild in that area that you have your plans on?
So we're building to all of those 2641 locations that they take it's kind of like a timestamp on
Right.
the end of that challenge period for the bait program. And they say, these are the unserved locations as of this date. This is where you get funding. This is where All Points is obligated to build. So if somebody
Okay.
comes in the meantime, good for them, but the grant program, that's a set universe of locations to build to. So it's those 2641.
Okay.
And Tom, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think under the new program, as opposed to the RDOF original grant, the timeline's being accelerated, correct?
Oh, yeah. So RDOF, that program allows providers to take 6 years to build out to, I think it's 80% per census block group and 95% for your whole state. Whatever the RDOF rules are, we accelerated it, and it's all going to be built on the VAD timeline.
Okay. What does substantially complete mean? Is that 90% completion or?
There's not a percent. It just means that all the terminals are out there. We've passed the homes. There may be one or two. Let's say, like if there's a creek at the end of the road that has to be passed over that takes a little bit longer to get a permit, there may be one or two of those. But substantial completion means it's not a percent of the project being completed, but basically everyone can sign up for service.
And it's also critical,
That's a-
it's critical also for release of grant funds to ATB.
Oh, yeah, so we gotta,
Yeah.
that's a good point, Nicholas. So just as a reminder to everyone, we don't get no money comes to All Points, no money leaves the county until there is actual work done that we can show expenses for. The HCD approves it, that remittance request comes back, and then the funds change hands. So it's not like the RDOF program where money goes out the door before construction happens. This program is a reimbursement-based program. So we can't close out the project until we've shown them that we've done all the work.
Tom, when the trucks are out there, line fiber, whatever they're doing, are they going to say APB, something? What's the signage? Or if it's a subcontractor, I mean, you're going to have a few subcontractors depending on what they're doing.
Yeah.
Do they have their own sign so that people can know exactly who's who? And if there's any issue, we know who to contact.
Yeah, so if they're, well, regardless of who's out there, if there's an issue with the construction or the fiber, we'll have a key point of contact that'll be publicly available to report any kind of issue with construction. So regardless if it's a contractor or All Points, that'll go through the same channel and the same construction oversight crew. But there will be, of course, contractors working on, primarily on the mainline distribution and some of the smaller lines, but it'll be All Points Broadband mostly doing the drops. So that will be the trucks and the crews that most customers see. Certainly entering their house, doing that kind of work will be All Points Broadband. The work that is done in the power zone on the electric poles will be almost all exclusively done by the electric companies and their contractors. No All Points crew will be working in the power zone. So there'll be a mix of contractors and All Points, and you'll be able to tell who is an All Points employee and who is an All Points contractor. But either way, we'll have construction oversight running through All Points with a contact for you.
All right, could you send, we're at that point, could you just send the authority the contact information for that individual or office, or if there is an issue?
Sure.
So that we know how to forward, details if there is an issue. Thank you.
I have a question. I was talking to Jerry Davis at the Northern Neck Planning District Commission, and he said that each of the counties, all the stakeholders, as he called them, will have a place for a representative to be on the management team. And I just wanted to confirm that was the case.
If that's what he's told you, then that's the case, yes.
Okay, thanks.
Cherie, other questions?
Nothing for me.
Anything else, Michelle?
No, thank you.
Gary, other questions for Tom?
I just have to go back. My internet bugged out. So if you want to bring fiber here quickly, that would be great.
We need to hear more from Gary, so yes, please get the fiber there.
Do the survey, Gary.
Kevin? Okay.
Strongly encourage people to do that survey. That's really helpful.
Yeah. Now, with the survey, I signed up actually early, but I try and go back to relog in and I can't change my password. Yeah, I've tried a few times.
You got blocked. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, well, that very well maybe. It's not the first time.
No, I'll double check on that. You should be able to reset it. I think I had to reset mine 2 days ago, logging in on a new device. So it should work. I do know that mine, when I do the reset on that website, it definitely goes to a spam folder. So I would check that, but I'll check with Chuck too.
Oh, okay. I didn't think about looking at my spam for the.
Mine went to spam on like Monday when I did it.
Okay, I'll check it.
Since you have, I assume Nicholas and Gary's email, you can send the slides to either one or both of them, and they'll see that it comes out to us.
Okay.
Nicholas, other questions?
No, I'm fine, thank you. Thank you, Tom.
Sure.
Yeah, we appreciate you taking the time and getting your screen up for us. And
It looked right to me.
No, but appreciate your willingness to forward those slides to us. All right,
Sure.
well, you take care. And
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Glasses. Grant evaluation. Cherie, was that one you added?
I added it only if Gary wanted to share just the status. There are some things that the LCBA is considering that he had a list of in the emails. I don't know, Gary, did you want to address that
I
today?
thought it was better to push it for next meeting since it's going to be long.
Okay,
Okay,
okay.
all righty. What was the last, I lost my last page.
It's just the
Oh,
closed
there's
session.
closed session. Okay. That ends this session. I got to remember how to say it now. According to Virginia Code, I got to read it.
You gotta read it.
You,
I don't have it on.
oh, I was going to say, I have to read it every time. I never remember it. I just remember the numbers. 29. Oh, gosh.
Just read it.
Just read it. All righty. Oh, one thing for board members, I assume you went to the link to do the online FOIA, correct?
We have to
We understand we're supposed to do it, yes.
Good. Everybody knows you're supposed to do
Yes.
it. I
Yes.
sent you the link. Good.
Yes.
All right. I just wanted to make sure everybody got the link. Okay. No. All right, that's all I have. Anybody have anything else they want to put up before we go into closed session? Where's my sheet with all that words?
And we sign in via the other link, right?
Sorry, I'm sorry, Gary, I couldn't hear you.
We sign up for the close this one and then go to the.
Yeah, we're closing this one.
other link.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm looking
okay.
for my word, and since I never remember it, we don't do those.
You want to propose to convene a
Closed
closed
session
session and take an
according to-
affirmative vote.
You have to have an according to.
According to, that's the one I'm looking for.
According
What are we
to,
closed sessioning for?
Contractual issues.
yes, that is.
I got to just figure out what, I wrote it down, what you have to say. But this will end the public.
I'll tell you, I want to say it's 29.
I want to say it's 29. It's 29, it's A. I remember the A. Oh, it's in my-
Yes, it's 29.
29A.
She gotta read the whole
Correct.
statement.
29.
So it's